Woo, that was close, man.
What happened?
We were not reconnecting. We were not connecting to LinkedIn, so I was just scrambling to try to get us connected to LinkedIn. But we are connected to LinkedIn
There we go.
So that's amazing.
Perfect.
There you are. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Hey guys, my name is Dan Duran and this is the Tech Lounge. Here we discuss topics related to business technology, cybersecurity, and today we're going to be talking about vacationing and how to take care of your home, how to maintain it secure while you're on vacation. And not just when you're on vacation, but when you're out. Let's say you're working. Let's say you work 24 hours, like one of those continental shifts and you're a nurse or you're away from home. How to protect your home when you're out doing stuff and also on vacation. Make sure we stream live every Friday at 12 o'clock, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Don't miss it. Next Friday, 12 o'clock. We want to see you in here. We have really, really good content for you. And now sit back and relax. This is the Tech Lounge. And finally, back from his vacation. I mean, coincidentally, we're doing this show about vacationing and security and nothing to do with the fact that our co-host extraordinaire, the Rock of Rhino, I keep saying that.
I know.
Was on vacation in Cuba. Hello, Andrew Summerton. It's so good to have you back, man.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Dan. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. My background is a little different than it was when I had my little special appearance last week. I enjoyed that background much, much more.
Yes, you definitely look more tan than you used to.
I smile a lot, so my teeth show.
Exactly. That's awesome. How was your vacation, man?
You know what? It was absolutely well needed. It was incredible. If you haven't visited Cuba, I know a lot of people have mixed emotions about it because of the food and everything. You know what? The food is good. The people are incredible. We go to Coco when we go typically. The beaches are beyond beautiful, and
yes.
Yeah, we had a wonderful time. As far as the entire trip, it was wonderful. The last day, yesterday, total opposite, and I'll share that story with you because it was a nightmare. But I'm here, I'm smiling, and I'm really, you know what? It was an experience, and we got through it. Still going through it. I'll tell you about that as well. But
yes. We should have a show. We should have a show on vacation nightmares because it's happened to me and my wife.
That's a good way. That's
also, we went to Cuba and we didn't have our bags. Like they didn't arrive with us, and it was a 1 week vacation, and they arrived like 5 days later when we were ready to go with personal items and stuff. It's just nightmare.
Oh, that would have sucked. But you know what? At least in Cuba, you can get away with a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and you're pretty good.
Yeah, but when you don't have your
eyeglasses and your cream,
it's really, really horrible. All right, who do we have online? Hey guys, I hope you're doing fantastic. Send us a shout out. Let's see, who do we have? We have Kai Yonglian Kai. Hello,
hey,
young man. I hope you're doing fantastic. Diego Castrillon, he says, hello. Who else do we have in there? Sean.
Hey, Sean, how are you, buddy? You got to reach out one of these days, bud. We haven't talked to you in a long time. Hope you're doing well.
Happy Friday, Sean. Felix says, hello.
Hey, Felix.
We have Aura Rosana Calle Castrillon saying, hello. Or hello. Boris. Hello, Boris. Fantastic. Adrian says, Andrew.
Hey, Adrian.
You're back.
I'm back.
That's great. Hello. Changiz. Hello, Changiz. Happy Friday to you too, Changiz.
Good to see you, sir.
Elizabeth, good to see you guys.
Beth says, I like Beth's
lots of people today.
Hey, guys.
Sonia Castillo says, hey, guys, happy Friday. Oscar, hello, Oscar Garridos. He says, "Hello, guys." Oh my God, that would have been
awful.
Oh, yes,
that was your story, Beth. Your story. Yeah, it would have been awful. It would have been horrible.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Gabriela says, "Hello, guys. Happy Friday." So happy Friday, everybody. This show is going to be about home security. What things you need to look for when you are leaving for vacations. And I have a couple of clips. And I have some funny clips, some kind of more serious clips, And then we're going to tell stories and kind of show you the pro tips that you should do every time you go away. And some of them are pretty smart. That's what we want to try to do. We want to try to outsmart the burglars and the thieves, right? So, all right, let me share my screen with you and let's get on with the shows. Maybe actually before we do that, Andrew, what's the backstory on this? It's obvious, but tell us a backstory.
You know what? Obviously, we're all about education. We're about informing and making sure you take little pieces of our show away and hopefully helps better you or helps protect you. And again, we're a technology show, cybersecurity show, and this really is relevant to that. It really speaks to, you know, what you have to do as far as you're protecting your home on some physical items. But then also there's tips and tricks that we're going to share with you about what you should be looking for and what you should be doing on the technical side of things when you're traveling and what you should be aware of, etc. So
Hey guys, I don't know what happened
there
there.
we go.
Wow.
I don't know. I was in the backstage. I was telling the backstory, and I went. You put me back with the backstory.
Wow. That was really, really weird. It's just we just went offline all of a sudden. Okay. So here's my screen again. Thanks, Glaston, for letting us know. Wow. That was weird.
And so the backstory, if you guys didn't hear it, basically, as you know, it's about, so this is all about when you go away on vacation, the hard stuff, but then also some technical. We're a technology show, and we just want to give you little tips. Shankian says, "What happened? We're not sure. It's a technology show. Things happen in technology."
That was bizarre. I think you got your story across. But just when I was going to show my screen, then all of a sudden, boom, it was gone. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that. Little glitches happen sometimes. Okay, let's take a look at this video.
Check this out. Intruders caught on camera invading houses. So could something like this happen to you?
Dave Rowe knows all too well how it feels to have his home broken into.
Yeah, and see, that's what the problem was. Because I heard him first. I said, hold on. I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Because then I start to taste them. I say, and then I start to smell them. So it's like a smell like tastes like other. So I knew something was wrong. I knew something special about it. You know? So
what did you do when you heard the intruder?
I ran upstairs. I had to run. And I had to do what that little girl, what's that little girl in the Holocaust? She had Anne Hathaway, Frank and Beverly. Anne Frank, that's a hiding bitch, ain't it? I had to get up the stairs. So he had so much rhythm. When he was walking up the stairs, he said, doom, doom, doom. Bitch, I started to almost beatbox up in the closet. Oh, boom, boom, boom.
What is this?
I have no idea. But it reminded me of this. This is when I was doing my research. I came across that, and I was just laughing.
That lady with the fire? Yes. Yeah, the lady with the fire.
Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That became so famous.
Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time.
Anyways,
I thought as soon as you put that clip up, that's exactly the girl I thought about. That's funny. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so this has nothing to do with vacations, but it was a funny video, and I think that's what the guy was trying to do to try to, get on the camera and become famous, just like Sweet Brown, I think, or Sweet Sugar Brown. I don't remember her name. Elizabeth says that guy is hilarious. Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is a little more serious, right? This is Diego says that's a classic one. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Sweet Brown. Who doesn't love Sweet Brown? This is a little more kind of into the serious things, so what not to do. And this is something that people do it all the time. And I gotta tell you, man, I gotta And you're saved, Andrew, because you have all the people living in your house. But I see you posting pictures on your vacation.
You know
On
what? I
Facebook.
actually only did 2, and you're right. And you have to be careful. But we'll talk about that. But
Yes.
in that past, I used to post all the time, and you're 100% right. I
Yeah.
only post 1 or 2.
Yeah. So here it is.
You probably heard it is not a good idea to let everyone on Facebook know that you're not at home. While some Facebookers wait until they get home to post vacation photos, many make the mistake of letting the world know their house is sitting empty. Our consumer technology reporter Jamie Tucker shows how to safely post vacation photos only to friends you trust.
If you're sharing pictures of yourself on vacation, let me show you just how easy it is for a burglar to find an empty house using Facebook. They find a public Facebook group in the area. They tap on members and pick one to see their profile where they can see any of the photos posted publicly. If they find someone who's posted a vacation photo, that burglar knows that their house is probably empty. And most of us don't think about this before we post pictures of our toes in the sand. If you can't wait until you get home, you should do this. Set up a separate friends list. You'll want to do this on a computer,
Jerks.
not a phone. Click on friends and then custom lists. Here you can make a list of people you trust. Click on add, remove, and add people to the list simply. When you post a vacation photo, then choose to share only with people on that list. Even if they like or comment on the post, only people on your custom list can see it. I've also found custom friends lists are good for certain types of posts. We all have friends who are easily offended. You may have friends you don't want to see your party pics, friends you may disagree with politically. So create a list of friends who are jerks. Don't laugh, we all have them. And then add their names to that list. So whenever you want to post something, without stirring those people up, you can choose to post to everyone except people on that list. Just in case you're thinking it, I'm not giving bad guys advice on how to case someone's joint. They already know people share way too much personal information on Facebook publicly. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Very clever of Jamie to
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's great advice actually.
Yeah. I have
People
better
don't-
advice than that.
Okay.
Don't post pictures on
Period.
Facebook. Period. 100% true and tested. Because I've done.
But you know what? We live.
everywhere.
You know what? I agree with what you're saying, Dan. But we live in a world that everybody wants that self gratification. It's kind of sad, right? You go on vacation to relax and enjoy, but you know what? On all honesty, you want other people to see that you're having a good time. It's a weird ego thing, and you know what? The sad reality of it is
Yes.
everybody
Yeah.
does it. And so I think that's a great way of doing it and protecting them. I mean, if you could take the best advice is leave your phone at home. Don't add pictures. Don't do anything, and just enjoy the moment.
Yes.
That would be ideal advice. But humans, period. They want that gratification from their
Yes.
friends. Oh, you're having a great time, or this or that, right? And it's sad, but it's reality all in the same breath.
Exactly. And I want to pose that picture, that question to you guys out there. Is it okay to post pictures of your vacation? And would you follow this recommendations on from this tech guy on how to post pictures with the different groups and jerks and all of that? There's a lot of jerks on Facebook, anyways. Would you
I
do
would-
it like
I
that?
wouldn't do
Would you
it.
use the technology, or would you just not post pictures? What do you think? Let
Yeah,
us know.
share. Yeah, let us know. I personally, my feeling on it, Dan, is I wouldn't do that. I mean, we're all lazy too, as people as well. So I mean, to create another group and just remember to share it to that, and it's not going to happen, right? Most people aren't going to do it. So I just I like the idea of if you want to post pictures on your vacation, send them when you get back. Then, if that's the case. But even then, to your point, don't post anything.
Exactly. Here's another quick tips video, and this is from a police officer. And there's very basic. Some of these are very basic, and everybody should do them. Basically, I know I do them in my house for sure.
It's that time of year. School is out and it's prime time for vacation. Ah, that's better. Wait, did I lock the front door? Before you leave for vacation, take a few simple steps to prevent returning home to an empty house. Make sure all windows and doors are locked and put valuables away. Expensive items like computers, cameras, and other electronics are more difficult to take if they aren't left out in the open. Ask a trusted friend or neighbor to check on your house periodically and bring mail and deliveries inside. Lastly, ask someone to keep an eye on things and report any suspicious behavior. Remember, the worst part of vacation is when it's over. especially if you didn't follow these tips.
You know
Put
what's
valuables away. Does anybody put their valuables away when they're going vacation? Oh, you do.
I have it. You know what? I'm not going to say it out loud, but I have this little box and it's called a safe, and I put things inside it. I won't tell you where it is in my house though, but I do that. Absolutely, I do that.
No, but I'm talking about cameras. I'm talking about things they're expensive, right? Like I know burglars, they won't take a TV, or they might. I don't know, but that's
you know what? It's
possible to
crazy.
take and put it on a safe, right?
You know what? I mean, I personally don't put that kind of stuff away. I mean, I have this is my workspace down here. I have my screens and my laptops and all that kind of stuff, and I don't put that stuff away.
Yeah.
I think what's really important about what he said was, it's one thing to ask. So I'm going to use my experience from last week. I asked my kids to come over and take a look, but again, they're busy, so they may come over
Yes.
once, twice, or three times for like a half an hour. There's an awful lot of hours in a day. So what I always do is I tell 2 or 3 neighbors, say, guys, just so you know, and I ask the same, just if you see any weird activity in my house at any time, I'm not there, so it's
Yes.
not right. I said, but my son or daughter may come by eventually and see, but you guys recognize their car. But other than that, we're not around. So please let us know. So because
Exactly.
they're right across the street, they're right beside us, so they can see. Like they're sitting in their living room, they're looking at my house. A moving truck comes up. Hello, there's a problem, right?
Yes.
So that's another thing. So I think it's one thing to say, yeah, have somebody come and take a look, or come in the house and make sure everything's okay, or feed your whatever, or do
Yes.
whatever.
Absolutely.
But I think you need to have eyes on the property.
All right. Let's put on the pro tip number 1, Gladstone, on the screen. And this one is actually something that people don't do. And I see it. Sometimes I walk my dogs around the block and I see houses that have the grass and it's like this long and it's not mown, right? So make sure if you go for like 3 weeks, let's say 3 weeks vacation, a long vacation somewhere, or even a month, or you're going away to another country, make sure you mow the lawn. You water the grass, you shovel the snow, you hire a landscaping company to come to your house and do landscaping, get some friends to come and, in
Water
a week
the
or 2
flowers.
weeks, water your plants, because it shows, man. It really does. And this is something that people forget because they're leaving and the grass looks perfectly fine, but then they're like, oh man, it starts to grow, right?
Make the house look like it's lived in. Like imagine you're still there. Exactly. So if you don't have someone come and cut your grass, I mean, we're very fortunate. We have a company comes and cuts our grass, but they don't do our flowers and stuff. So my wife turns around and says to our kids or whatever, please come and cut the grass, or not cut the grass, but water the flowers. But you're right. If you're gone any longer than a week, definitely it's important.
Junk mail.
Junk
you
mail.
get all the time. You get junk mail. You get on the floor on your doorstep. Make sure that gets cleaned out, right?
For sure.
Pro tip number 2: hire a house sitter. And you know what? This is something important. We have 2 or 3 people that they're on call, and they're really good, trusted friends. And some of them are like in their 20s, and they have no problem staying in our house. I mean, we don't even have to pay them, but we give them a little something. And they're like, sure, I'll take care of I'll take care of your house, and I'll take care of your dogs too, right? So
and it's probably a nice little break for them too. It's like a mini vacation for them because they're staying at your house and they're away from their regular routine. So it's kind of
Exactly.
a win-win, right?
And if you can, then just hire a house sitter. There's a lot of services out there. Make sure that they're reliable services and they don't house sit for you and then take your furniture away. You come back to an empty house, right?
And it's happened. It's happened.
Yes, absolutely. And talking about looking like it's going to be your house is actually inhabited. There's people. I have a video clip here that who doesn't remember this video clip or this movie, which is hilarious for Christmas time. And
I know it.
Let me show you. This is a scene from Home Alone.
Yeah.
Did they come back?
Iris.
Look at this setup.
That's kind of extreme, but I love it.
There you go. There you go. Now that's what I'm talking about, man. That's the kind of setup that you have to have in your house when you're away on vacation.
Hey, that's a really good business idea. Someone should create a company, mobile mannequins or something, or visual mannequins for a house away. You could actually do that. And we set up mannequins in our house when you're gone. For any of you guys listening out there that are entrepreneurs, there's a tip that you can start a new business right there.
Yeah.
I think it probably work actually.
There's probably an app for that already.
Probably.
You never know. All right. Any comments? Any questions, guys? If you're out there, any of your sentiments and thoughts, just put them on the screen or put them on our comment on our chat, and then we'll display the comments.
Yeah, I mean, share experiences, guys. We'd love to hear from you. Share experiences you went away. Maybe something happened to you, or something happened to a friend or family member that they didn't do or they forgot. Share experiences, guys.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. All right. Okay. So next tip on security for your house. Okay, we already have this one. Don't promote that you're on vacation on social media. That's absolutely important that you don't do that. We already covered that. Let's go to the next one. Have someone pick up your mail. Inform the post office to forward your mail to another address. You can actually go to the post office and then set up the dates, right? That you are going to be away,
right,
and forward your mail to a relative or a friend for that space of time, like for 2 weeks.
They'll even hold it at the post office and stuff for you.
Exactly. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. We have a question from Oscar. He says, "Have you guys had any bad experiences?" Andrew, have you had any bad experiences?
You know what? In regards to travel, it's funny that I had this conversation with my wife on our past vacation, and I'm knocking on wood when I actually said it, and I never had a bad experience as far as anything bad happening to me. Our trip home yesterday was a horrible experience, but it had nothing to do with this. And I'll share that with you because it's a travel one. But
yeah, sure. Go ahead. I mean, your 3.5 hour turned into like an eternity, didn't it?
It was insane. But in regards to this, I'll share that story. But my brother, to your point, goes to work each and every day. He has a routine. We all have a routine, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 type of routine. And they came home and their house was broken into. So and they had things stolen. They had a TV taken off the wall. They had jewelry taken. They had watches taken. And this happened right during the day, broad daylight, on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it was. And they came in, they had a truck and had things taken from them. And it wasn't a vacation. It was about being cautious of basically your house and how to protect it. And I know some of our tips are about that, but that happened personally to my brother, and that must have been a horrific experience for him. I mean, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. For me, in my experience, I never had anything happening. Knock on wood. But we have a really funny comment from actually a good comment from Jenkins. He says the issue with the post office is that sometimes it takes 2 weeks for them to act on the transfer.
You're already back. And then you don't get your mail for 2 more weeks.
Thank you, Canada Post. We love you. Not absolutely. But you know what? You should ask your friends. We ask our friends right across that if we get any Amazon packages or any packages to please just retrieve them and then hold them for us. And she'll be happy to do that for us. So we got really good neighbors in that regard. The other thing that I do, for example, when I go away is I close the curtains, right? And the sliding doors that you have going into the deck, and a lot of people have those, right? From the kitchen into the deck, and then downstairs in the basement. I got this little sticks, right? These little sticks, and I pry them right in on the door entrance, because those sliding doors are really easy to open from the outside if you pry them open.
Pry them up. You pry them, and you lift them up and move them out. So put a stick or a hockey stick or something to stop them from sliding. You can actually get middle bars that click down right in the middle, which gives you a perfect scenario.
Yes.
Great tip. It's important.
Yeah, I have like this 2x4. They're not as big as 2x, but 2x2 that are just like cut them for that special purpose. And I sometimes when I do and I spend one night away in a hotel or something, we go to Niagara Falls or whatever, I make sure that I do that.
We
right?
keep ours in all the time. We have metal bars that are inside it. We keep them in all the time. When we go out, we take them out and we just put them beside it. Cause that way you never forget, right?
Yes, exactly. So Diego says, I guess there are countries that are, in terms of cybersecurity, more dangerous than other ones, right? Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
That's part of one of the conversations I was
yes.
going to have, Diego. I was going to ask Dan, because when you travel and you basically are using your Wi-Fi and stuff. So what I use is I use our plan. I mean, and I've traveled before where it cost me a crazy amount of money to use my cell phone and create that data, etc. But now legally, you have to they can only charge you so much for roaming. And it's like 50 for us with Bell, it's $15 unlimited for roaming anywhere in the world. So the maximum you can use, and you're on their network still, you're still secure, you're still protected, versus, let's say, being in a lobby somewhere in the Caribbean or anywhere in the world, and you're using their Wi-Fi, that's not as secure.
Yes.
You could basically, so Dan, maybe you want to talk to that.
Yeah, if you're going to use a public Wi-Fi in your hotel, let's say in Bermudas or in Cuba, make sure that you have a VPN connection so you're secure, right? But what you're saying, Andrew, is completely 100% correct. I think it's $10 per day or $15 per day.
Ours is $15 per day.
Yeah. I remember when I went like a couple of years, it was $10. Now it's 15. But that is the best way because you're taking the data with you and you're using your device and your cell connectivity as opposed to a Wi-Fi. Exactly. So that is the best way to keep secure. Now, to answer Diego's question, absolutely. I come from Chile, so I'm from South America, and every house is fenced in Chile. I'm talking about the windows. I'm talking about
post Shangxing's. Dan, to your point, post Shangxing message. Exactly what you're telling right now.
Yes,
that's funny.
In some countries, people install metal bars in front of their doors. Absolutely.
Exactly what you're saying.
In our country, in my country, Chile, they do that because sometimes you can't even carry cell phones with you because you're going to get pickpocketed and stuff like that, right? So, yeah. But in Canada, there are lots of robberies. I mean, it's you leave a bike out on the street and then you'll get it stolen with a chain or not chain. So there's still a risk that you run. Not as high as some other countries, but obviously it's very important that you're not advertising that you're going on vacation and doing certain things.
And that's exactly what I think. It's when we talk about cybersecurity, right? We talk about mitigating risk. What we do is we mitigate risk to the point where hopefully you're not going to be targeted or attacked. There's never 100% guarantee, but you're mitigating risk. Same thing with traveling and protecting your home or putting a lock on your bike. You want to mitigate risk and get less chance. Because again, anybody's going to rob your house typically, as you said, and Dan, we use this analogy all the time in cybersecurity. They're opportunistic hackers, right?
Yes.
So they're going to go after the low-hanging fruit. They're going to go after the easy target. You leave your bike sitting there unlocked versus one that's locked. Which one are they going to take? Right?
Yes, absolutely. Opportunistic, 100%. All right. So Diego says also it is very important to have the GPS activated in a country you don't know. But doesn't that entail some risk? Having your GPS on, I don't think it's any problem. I mean, unless you're concerned about privacy, on your phone, location services and things like that. But I don't think that is a security risk in terms of getting hacked or anything like that. Now, the next step, I think it's number 5. Don't publish photos online with personal identifiers like street signs, house numbers, license plates, and etc. Oh my God, this one is super important. If the thief is looking for people that are on vacation and they notice that you're on vacation, I mean, the first thing, before they even notice that you're on vacation, they look for photos where there's a house number, right? Because then they're going to know an addresses. A license plate, for example. I see a lot of people posting, selling their cars and stuff like that, or posting pictures, and all of a sudden the car has the license plate like right in there. So things like that, you're just giving this tidbits of information out there that in reality you shouldn't do, right? Because you're exposing yourself, you're exposing your information, right? So very important, I think. Not just from the fact that you're going on vacation, but in kind of like general sense of the word, right?
To your point, and car theft is huge, right? So a lot of times you'll see now with cars that are being sold, people are looking for certain makes and models, let's say. So if you post it with a license plate, they know where it is. If they want to steal it, they can. So a lot of times now on a lot of these social media platforms or marketplace or auto trader, they'll actually white out the white license plate, which is, to
Yes,
your point, which is so important to do.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So what's the next one? And if you have any questions, any comments, if you have a story that actually happened to you, you want to share with us, then you just by all means just post it on the chat, and then we'll display it online.
Do you want to hear my story about yesterday? Because I'm still feeling it. I'm still shaking. Do you want me to tell you about it, Dan?
Yes, we'd love to hear your story. Go ahead.
So I had an incredible vacation. So, and I know everybody's been asking me and thinking, and it's been wonderful. But yesterday from Cuba to Montreal, it's about a 3.5 hour flight. We didn't get home. We left yesterday, so it took us 17.5 hours. We ended up staying an extra hour and a half on the tarmac in Cuba. Then they had to reroute us through Florida. Then when we got to Montreal, we ended up being on the runway for 2.5, almost 3 hours on the runway because there was lightning happening at the time. Then they couldn't deplane us, so they said, okay, well, they're going to send over a bus to come and get us out on the tarmac because all the places to park the plane were full. So then they moved us, and then they said, okay, we can't do it here. So they moved us again for another half an hour. Then they actually sent a bus to come and pick us up. Finally, we ended up getting in the terminal. Then they ended up turning around. Then they turned around and said, okay, by the way, your flights are canceled. And then they came back on about a half an hour and said, no, we're okay, but you have to go to the other side of the airport. So we had to walk. My wife has a very bad knee and a bad leg, so she was walking like a trooper. Anyways, got to the other side of the airport where we thought we had a 4-hour window between our transfers to get back to Ottawa. And it ended up being, we didn't have it. It was actually, we got in after that. They said our flight was leaving at 10:40 at 10:20, and we were boarding at 10:10. We ended up getting at 10:20. Our flight was canceled. So we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Meanwhile, our bags went from international to domestic. Anyways, our bags are lost. Our plane was canceled. It got rerouted to Saturday. So right now I have a flight going from Montreal to Ottawa on Saturday right now. It's current.
So are you going to go back to Montreal and take the flight to go back to Ottawa?
Exactly.
Okay. Awesome.
Our bags are still in Montreal somewhere. We don't know where. Unfortunately, it was a perfect storm. All the planes ended up being grounded. It was a 4-hour wait. I have pictures if you don't believe me, for a taxi. All the hotels in Montreal were booked because it was Grand Prix weekend. We couldn't rent a car because it was after hours, so the car rentals were closed. So I called my son in Ottawa. At 11 o'clock, he says, "Oh, you guys aren't staying there." He drove from Ottawa and picked us up in Montreal 2 hours later at 1 o'clock. And of course, we hadn't eaten since 1 o'clock on the plane, so we were kind of hungry. So we stopped and got some food at 1 o'clock in the morning. Drove back home. We got home at like 3:30 in the morning. And now we're here working, and it was absolute. Yes. And you couldn't imagine the lineups of people. They told us to go here and wait. There's hundreds of people waiting. It was a perfect storm. Yeah. Which actually, unfortunately, the week was so wonderful it didn't ruin it. But let me tell you, it was going from pure bliss to complete stress. It sucked. But you know what?
So you actually need a vacation from.
I need a vacation from yesterday. So everybody, I'm not here next week. I'm on vacation. No, I'm joking. But yeah, it was crazy.
Very nice.
Anyway, I have a story too. But you were talking about the perfect storm. I was traveling actually to Los Angeles from Air Canada from here Toronto to Los Angeles, and this was like a couple of years ago, maybe more, maybe three or 4 years, and we were going mid-flight, right, and almost arriving to California, and all of a sudden we couldn't land because there was a storm, right, and so we had to be flying around in circles and stuff like that until they cleared us for kind of approaching the airport and stuff like that, and all of a sudden we get into this really dark clouds and stuff, and you hear an explosion on the plane, and it was like, and the plane went like this.
No way.
And it was just crazy. The lights went off. I was with my uncle, and I was just like holding on to my uncle, going like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" It was just lightning that hit the plane. It was
Lightning hit really? Wow.
yes, yeah, lightning that hit the plane. I never had that kind of experience before. It was the most mortifying experience I ever had in my life on a plane. I hate planes, like right from the get go. I don't like planes, but
I love
this was horrible, man. Like hearing that, and I can't just just
Yeah,
give me.
my wife's not like she loves to fly, but she doesn't like turbulence. And it was so funny because we were doing the same thing when we headed to Montreal because it was a storm. We had to circle for about 20 minutes before we were allowed to approach because there was a
Yes.
backup in flight. And we hit a pocket and we dropped, I don't know however far, but it felt like you dropped forever, but it was just a quick thing. And my
Yeah.
wife grabs me and kicks the neighbor and she's like, "Are you okay? I didn't mean to."
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's all good.
We have a really good comment from Changiz. He says, "I watched a clip from a police officer talking about AirTag trackers and how thieves install it on a car or truck and then following it to steal the car during off hours." Absolutely, 100%.
Wow.
You know the Apple trackers, the AirTags, right? Apple, not just Apple, but you can buy them from Amazon for like $20, $30. They're super cheap.
Yeah.
They have GPS tracking. You can actually buy them, and a lot of thieves do this. They buy them and they put them on underneath the cars.
That's right.
And they can track where the car is going. And it's also for like people that are being followed, like bad relationships and stuff like that. It's horrible. I've seen clips like that. We should have a show on that one day. Thank you so much, Changiz. It's very important. You should check your cars underneath sometimes to make sure that they don't have any tracking devices. Now, the other thing, on the other token, I've seen news where people put those tracking devices on their bikes. I mean, I have an expensive bike. Yes, I do bike riding quite a bit. So, this is a really good idea to put one of those trackers inside of your bike. And so, especially if you live in places like Toronto or Montreal or Ottawa, downtown, if you get your bike stolen, then you can actually track it where it is afterward, right? So, yeah, good comments. Sonia Castillo says, "A friend of mine had the same situation happen to them like Andrew's brother. They left for work, and when they came back, their house was gotten broken into. This was just down the street from me." Yeah.
It's crazy.
This happens quite a bit, fortunately, here in Canada. I know we live in a safe place, but it is definitely happening more and more often nowadays. What is the next tip, Gladstone?
Gladstone has left the building.
Gladstone?
There he is.
Okay, there you go. Nope, that's not it. Yes, this one. Make sure that it looks like someone's home. Okay, and not just that, but there's certain things that people do that should do. Here's a trick. It's not about who runs the fastest. It's about who doesn't run the slowest, so it doesn't get he doesn't get eaten by the lion, right? And that, if you think about that mentality, and that mentality is called actually security in depth, right? In terms of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
If you put a sign on your back door, going to your yard or your fence that says "Beware of dog," okay, just a sign. You don't even have a dog. You have a cat. You have a mouse. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That sign says a lot, because a thief will pass by the house. They will look at that sign and go like, "I'm not gonna go in there. I'd rather go to the next neighbor, or down the street and steal or break into that house because these people have a dog." Right?
You know what?
So,
Oh my, Dan, I have to. I'm sorry, I have to share this because it's
Sure, go
travel.
ahead.
It's travel, and it's exactly to that point. So how a sign can be deterrent and nothing else matters. So we're driving. This was years ago. We're driving to Florida, and we're in Florida. First time we ever drove there. And there's orange orchards everywhere, right? And everybody's like, Beth's like, why don't we get an orange off the tree? Like my wife, she want to get an orange. And all of a sudden we came across one that said, there was a big, huge sign in the ditches. It was, oh my God, I still remember this day. And it says, feel free to pick our oranges, but be aware there's poisonous snakes in the ditches. Be careful. I swear to God, it's so true. And we were like, I'm not going over to get that orange.
time out here. Time out. So Andrew, he's got a phobia, and one of them is, I mean, it's snakes, right? So he doesn't like snakes at all. He won't go anywhere near snakes. So even the thought of thinking about a snake, his skin crawls, right? So just imagine, yeah, that was definitely a good deterrent for you, man.
Great sign, and it's stuck. I mean, it had to be 20 years ago, and it still is. I mean, I love sharing that. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh my goodness, I remember
Yes.
that sign.
Yeah, and not just that, but even if you have, for example, a sign that says ADT security.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the burglar is going to come into the house and start looking. No. If you have that sign, right away they'll be like, yeah, it's not even worth checking to see if like there's security in the house. So they will just walk, right? They just walk. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions on how to maintain your house secure when you're away, and we haven't mentioned them in here, make sure you put them on the chat, and then we'll definitely tell the world what else to be careful with.
This is a good one.
Chengiz says, actually, there are smart doorbells with camera that sounds like door parking. Gets close to the door. Can you imagine? Somebody gets close to the door.
So do you program it as like a Rottweiler or a pit bull, or do you like a little Chihuahua?
Rottweiler. That's hilarious. I mean, it's really good idea to install smart cameras. I have a smart camera on my home in front of our property, and especially when the ones that you can. I don't remember the Google. What's the name of it? The Google alarms they're right on the doorbell, right? So. And you can track your packages to see, if somebody's stealing your packages from in front of your house.
At our offices too, right? You can remote in and you can see everything. You can hear, you can do everything. So
just make sure that when you configure those things to be able to see outside of the office or your house, it's secure, right? It's secure. There's a lot of times when they open a port out of your router or your firewall, and that's not secure, and then hackers can get into your camera and watch what you're doing, right? So just make sure that you do it securely, right? Exactly. All right, so what's do we have any tips? Does anybody can share?
I love the barking doorbell.
Yeah, pro tip number 7: have an alarm system and cameras. We were talking about cameras.
Yeah.
Alarm systems work, right? So I know they're expensive, but let me share with you a trick. Even if you don't have the means to get an alarm, or you don't want to get an alarm system, get a fake one. And just put it in there. Put it by the windows, by the door, etc. Make it visible from the outside. So even if they're dummy alarm systems, the burglars won't. They might not care. They might just not care about getting into your house. They just look at it and like, oh yeah, they have an alarm system. I'm out of here. I don't want to do this, right? So even if it's a dummy, even cameras. You go into, it's funny. You go into Amazon and you type in dummy cameras, and you will find hundreds of dummy cameras that you can actually buy for $10. Buy them for $10, put them in different places, and that will solve the problem. So even if you can't afford to buy an actual camera, or you don't want to, a dummy camera will do the job. It's all about deterrent.
Exactly. Mitigating risk, mitigating. You want to mitigate risk, and you give people the opportunity to see things that make them help change their minds.
Yes. Like thieves are very opportunistic, right? So even when you're, like if you're driving and you have packages for Christmas season, and you have a gift right on the passenger side, and then you leave to go to the store, you get your car broken into, because thieves are opportunistic. They're looking for that upper hand in terms of opportunity. So if you can minimize that, then by all means.
And really easy ones too. I mean, and I think, I don't know if you talked about this, or maybe we spoke about it another time, Dan, but even as easy as lights, automatic lights on and off. It's really important.
There you go. There's another one. Boom. There you go.
It's very inexpensive. I mean, Amazon, you can have it at your house tomorrow. You plug it into your wall, you plug your light into it, and you just put a timer on it and it comes on and off, and you could have it do at different times and stuff too, right? So
Yes. And what I have here at home is smart lights. Okay.
Right.
So I have RGB lights. I think they're like $15 per light, and you can buy them in from Walmart, right? Walmart, Home Depot, they all have it. Rona, Canadian Tire, you can buy them. Some of them are not very expensive. There's two types. There's the like the two dual colors, so it's like like really white or kind of like orangey, warm, or you have the RGB full spectrum of the rainbow basically, and they come with an app. So you just go into the app and you can change the colors. We use them quite a bit in here, and we have them connected to our Google. So I say, hey Google, lights on or lights 50%, and automatically they turn on. But there's settings in there for vacations, right? And what it does is exactly what you're saying. The little rotor thing that you like the clock thing that you plug in onto the wall, they're a little dumb because they always turn on at the same time all the time.
Yeah.
If you have a smart lights, you can actually set up your vacation times, and then randomly will turn on and change the lights during the night and stuff like that. So yeah, like technology, it's advanced in terms of that kind of stuff. But yeah, good point. We didn't have it here.
Well, the reason this is such an important show, guys. I mean, yes, I just got back, and I had a experience yesterday and stuff. But you know what? People are itching. They're itching for two things. They're itching for their vacation, and people just went through a lot of hard times. So there's going to be more crime, more corruption, and everything else happening, right? So you need to be proactive with this. You're going to start. People are going to start traveling, and people are hungry to get free things, right? So we have to be smart with what we're doing, and this is why it's such a relevant time to have this conversation, because people are going to start traveling, and people want to get stuff they can.
Let me tell you a story. I was watching this clip on YouTube or Facebook or something. This guy, and it's not. It is related, but not right. This guy. He cleans houses for a living. Okay, cleans houses. The guy actually was going to clean one of his friend's house, right? Okay. Yeah. And the guy tells him, "Oh yeah, I left the key under the doormat, right?" So like. That's one thing that you should never, ever, ever do is leave the key under the doormat, because everybody does it. I mean, come on.
Or the rock right beside it that looks safe.
Yeah, people, like thieves. That's the first thing they're gonna do. They're gonna, like see like the rocks and stuff like that, and under the mat and for keys, and they're gonna look for that stuff. Anyways, so this guy goes to this house. Spends like 3 or 4 hours cleaning the house. It's extremely clean, spotless, right? He found the key under the doormat, cleans the house. And then his friend calls him and he's like, hey, did you clean my house? And he's like, yeah, I totally cleaned your house. He's like, are you sure? Yeah. Well, where are you? Well, I'm right in the living room. What are you talking about? I'm in the living room. And the guy starts to, what is your house number? 27. Oh my God, I'm 37.
No.
True story. This guy, it was on the news. This guy cleans somebody else's house that had a key under the mat on the front door.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. That's like that commercial. That's like that commercials out there. Someone's out there, they're ripping up the deck. And she goes, I don't know whose deck they're ripping, whose deck they're supposed to be building, but mine isn't. So I'm going to let them keep doing it because I can use a free deck because they didn't order it. I just saw that on some social media thing.
Yes. No, this is a true story. It was on the news. I saw it yesterday or the day before, and it was just hilarious. But that just to prove the point that people do leave keys under the mats, which, I mean, come on.
Well, you know what? I'll throw myself under the bus. Honestly, last night after our experience, because I was going to take a cab before my son got, I said, do me a favor because I didn't have anything with me. I said, take a key over and just throw it under the mat. I'll be home. I don't know if I'll be home at 2 or 3 or 4. And I actually said that to him yesterday. And I'm sure nothing would have happened between that short window, but I did say that. Just, I mean, being totally honest.
I guess, I mean, if you do it once in a while and stuff like that, like because you have an emergency and stuff like that is explainable. If you're one of these people that do it all the time, it's better to get, like see a lot of houses with codes, right? And we do have in the office too, we have a code access and fob access, right? So they're actually not very expensive nowadays, where you can create users, right? And then create pins for those users, and then give them certain, when they can go in, when they can come out, and stuff like that, right? And you can do it for homes too, right? So Google Home and or I don't even remember the locks, right? So, but there's definitely you can do that. That beats having keys laying around, right? So, yeah, good tip. All right, anybody else? Anybody else? Do you guys have any questions, any suggestions to put online? So for people to be aware of, or any scary stories about home invasions or burglaries when you're on vacations or away from your home. We'd love to hear from you.
Another good tip, and it just came to me, but I've never done it. But I mean, we talk about cars and moving things and looking like you're alive and stuff. Like there's something happened. You got to always leave a house key, not a house key, but a car key with a neighbor, and say, "Would you mind moving my car to the other side of the driveway, or moving it back, or moving it every so often as well." Or one of your family members, when they come over and check the house, move the car, to the other side of the driveway or to the back of the driveway or what have you. Again, just again mitigating risk, right? Little things that can make a big difference.
Yeah. If you go, usually what I do when we go out for a night or something like that, I leave the TV on, right? And just because at night you can see that there's something movement on the TV, for example, upstairs in the room.
Does that work, Dan? Question for you. I've never done this. I mean, to that point, the things you talked about, the smart technology for the lights, and I was talking about the old dial thing that only had. Could you do that with your TV too? Can you? I've never done it. Can you plug in your TV so it comes on and goes off?
Not in my case, because I have to be inside of my house to be able to
turn it on. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm outside of the Wi-Fi, then I wouldn't be able to do that. Not yet, but that's something that I should try. I like experimenting with it.
Yeah, because I've always heard of the lights, but I thought maybe if you plug it in with the same technology, you could have the power to turn on your TV. Because I know you need to turn it on with the power still, but I wonder if that'd be kind of a neat thing to think about.
Yeah, and Gladstone says that there are some devices that actually do that.
Oh, okay.
So interesting, probably. You might have now. I mean, there's technology's advanced so much there. You can probably remotely do a lot of things remotely, like open your garage door.
Well, you have smart houses, yeah.
Cameras, smart houses, right?
The smart houses for sure. I mean, I know you can do that kind of stuff, but then you're talking a much more robust package for your house, and you can do everything remotely from your phone. You can open and close your blinds, put it on and off your one of my houses, you have the air conditioning, you could do that with. You could do that with TVs. I know that, but again, I'm just thinking more of the very easy way for somebody who doesn't necessarily have the big dollars to be able to spend on new technology.
That is my dream, man. That is my dream, to have a smart house like that. Okay, so my wife, I'm gonna talk about my wife a little bit. Okay. She does not like technology too much. Okay, she's very oblivious. She doesn't like it. Whatever, right? But when I got the smart lights and the Google Home and connected to the to my TV and all the lights and stuff like that, she loved it.
Right.
She loved it because she can change the lights to any color she wants. So for example, she can, and we have profiles, right? So she can say fireplace mode, and then it puts them in like this really nice dim warm light, and then she can say like 50%, and then they just dim down to 50%. She can turn on and off lights at the command of her voice, and she's like, this is the best thing ever, because I don't have to turn them on, off, or do anything with them. I just tell them what to do.
Right.
I can say, hey Google, turn on the TV, put on Netflix, and Google will turn on the TV and put on Netflix.
That's cool.
So we have that set up going in our house.
I just heard smart TV. What was that smart TV? That was perfect. Was that Google telling smart TV?
Google just turned on my TV upstairs. I said, "Hey Google," that's so funny.
I heard it.
We have a story from Jenkins. Maybe you can put it on online. Jenkins says, "Funny story. A while back, I was having lunch in the food court of Upper Canada Mall in Newmarket. A guy was talking on the phone, giving his home's address to somebody, and then gave the address of where he was. He had the spare key.
out loud. So you're sitting there in a food court. They're going, yeah, I live at 1025 Farmers Way, and this is. By the way, my key's in the back tree in the bird feeder.
Yeah. Attention shoppers. My house key is under the mat at 24, whatever the street name is.
And
Yeah.
I won't be home for 3 days.
Yes, exactly. Wow. Man, some people, man, they just divulge everything. Privacy is privacy, right?
The thing is here, and this is what's really important. People never think anything bad's going to happen to them.
Yes.
When you're on vacation, you're a tourist, nothing bad happens until it does. You know, you're leaving your home, nothing bad happens till it does. I'm healthy, nothing bad happens until it does. The reality of it is, be aware. You know, be aware of your surroundings. We live in such a fast-paced world, and you know what? Things do happen to good people. Things happen to you. So by mitigating risk, by be careful of what you say, what you do, how you do it, it's going to help protect you. And that's really what it's all about. You know what? Don't think it's not going to happen to me. It's going to happen to them. Protect yourself. You know, protect yourself, and it's going to help to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Right?
Yes.
That's what's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, man. It's just about being aware of what you're doing, right? And you always have to watch your back. And you know what? It's not necessary for you to be in a state of panicking, right? No. We don't want you to be, like over, watching over your shoulder at any. Just be aware of the little things make a huge difference when it comes to security. And I'm talking about not just in terms of having a house securely or protected when you're going on vacation. I'm talking about cybersecurity. I'm talking about, when you're dealing with devices, when you're dealing with phones, when you're dealing with laptops, networks, offices, it's usually you can achieve 80%. I'm talking about 80% of efficiency and results with 20% of the effort just by doing simple things. And that's what people don't understand sometimes when we go into offices and we do pen testing or we do vulnerability assessments. All of a sudden, like they're giving us the keys to the kingdom. When we do the scan, we see that they have default passwords for critical servers, SSH access to them. Any hacker that would, get into that network, the first thing that they're going to do is get into those critical servers and ransomware them, like all of that bad stuff. So, and it's just a matter of changing the default passwords. 5 minutes.
It's so true. And it applies to everything, Dan. It applies to health. Do little checkups to protect big problems. It applies to travel. Do little things to stop yourself being, hacked or being stolen or being. In regards to technology, do 80%, do 20% of the stuff which will protect you 80% of the time. Little things mitigate risk.
Exactly.
And if you put it off, it's going to cause a big problem, and that's what you don't want to have happen.
And sometimes companies think that it's extremely expensive to spend on. It is, there's going to be a few bucks that you're going to have to spend, like no question about it. But they think that it's going to be more expensive than it actually is when your IT and your security could be like very, very good. Like all of the services that we have. We had one of our clients, for example, get phished, right? And her credentials were stolen. However, the company had to do a factor authentication and deploy it everywhere, so the hackers didn't get anywhere. So we just revoked the access. And this stuff comes with Microsoft already. You don't have to pay extra. It already comes with Microsoft. Same with Google Workplace. It's free. It comes with it. You don't have to apply or you don't have to subscribe to any other services. It's very, very simple to do as well, right? So
what does Changiz says here?
Oh, she says it's funnier. This is funny, Changiz, man. Funnier was that when I approached him and I explained to him that what he did was not right, he told me none of your business.
So, Changiz, you should have gone to the house, got the key, put a little note saying, I'm sorry, but you know what? I just wanted to give you a heads up, but I don't know.
Wow. You know what? Crazy. Kudos to you, Changiz, for actually approaching somebody to tell them, listen, you don't do that. That's not, like I'm concerned about your well-being and your security. like it says a lot about the character, right?
And yeah, it says a lot about you too, and that's what's so important. We live in a protect me society and world, and you know what? Stay out of my business. Stay out. But then if something happens, they'll be like, well, why didn't you help me, or why didn't you tell me, or why didn't you inform me?
Yeah.
You know what? The reality of it is, he went up to a very kind stranger, walked up to this person and said, "This is what I overheard." Maybe someone wasn't kind overhearing,
Yes.
and they went in and took advantage of you. And you know what? You still got to stand up. You still got to speak out. And Chingiz, I think that was really great of you. And even if he did say it's none of your business, I'm sure it's still sunk in, and he's never going to do it again. So
Absolutely.
kudos to you.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It's 1:00, and thank you for joining us. I really appreciate, and I'll see you next time, next Friday, 12:00 on Facebook, LinkedIn,
Bye, everybody.
YouTube. Take care. Wow.
Travel safe.
Travel safe if you're going on vacation.
Absolutely.
These tips are good for you. Kevin says bye. Bye, Kevin.
What did Sean say? Sean said something. Thanks for another hour.
Thanks for another hour of intriguing content. Be in touch, buddy.
Thanks, Sean.